A few weeks ago, I shared how I had stopped making fancy bento boxes for my husband, and I've realized the same thing has happened with our family dinners also. They've become much simpler. So today I thought I would share what a week of family dinners actually looks like for a family here in Japan. My weeks always start by picking up fresh produce from a local store and then sitting down to plan our family dinners. As you'll see in this video, they're all simple meals made with simple ingredients, but I've come to really enjoy cooking this way. Let me explain why. It's Monday evening and I'm in from work. Tonight I'm making sukiyaki. Recently I received these thin slices of beef, so I'm going to use that and a couple of vegetables to make the sukiyaki. Let's get started. I'm naturally someone who enjoys a variety of foods. I grew up in Japan tasting lots of Asian flavors, but my family ate a broad palette of dinners. So naturally, I not only enjoy traditional Japanese dishes like I'm making tonight, but also pastas, curries, baked dinners, Asian noodles, breads, the list goes on. When I first got married, I wanted to make so many different recipes for my husband and myself that I would allocate different days of the week to different cuisines. For example, Monday was Japanese, Tuesday was Italian, Wednesday was Thai, and I would write out an entire month of meals to make sure nothing doubled up. Every week I challenged myself to make at least one new recipe, and I would also buy one ingredient at the store that I'd never used before, just to force myself to learn how to cook with all kinds of things. Looking back, I know I was probably a little over the top, but the funny thing is I genuinely loved the challenge. I felt inspired, I enjoyed being creative in the kitchen, and I was always so excited about my meal plans that I couldn't wait to show them to my husband and hear what he thought. But then life changed. I was working full-time, serving in ministry, and then I became a mother. Becoming a mother was the greatest gift I could have received. But it also meant waking through the night to nurse my baby, continuing to pack my husband's bento boxes every day, and realizing that making gourmet dinners simply wasn't my priority anymore. I wanted to be present for the new life I'd been blessed with. So naturally, the meals I made became simpler. Like this sukiyaki, it's essentially just seasonal Japanese vegetables, tofu, and thinly sliced beef simmered together in a sweet soy-based broth. Traditionally, this meal would be served with a raw egg for dipping, but I'm 6 months pregnant, so I skipped the egg and simply enjoyed the dish without. The rich flavor alongside comforting plain rice and fresh seasonal vegetables, I don't think you can top that. It's Tuesday evening and tonight I'm making tantan men for my family. Tantan men is originally a Chinese dish, but there are many restaurants in Japan that serve a modified version. Tonight I am going to use what I have in my kitchen to make a Susanna version. So basically I'll be using some mincemeat, some onions, some ginger, and tobanjan. I usually have a bottle of tobanjan in my fridge for when I'm making Chinese dishes. So this is what adds the spiciness to the dish. And then some Japanese somen noodles. So let's get started. For this pregnancy, I've been craving a lot of spicy foods, which is really interesting because I never used to enjoy spicy food growing up. Even into my early 20s, I avoided it altogether. I slowly started enjoying spicier foods in my mid-20s, but apparently pregnancy has changed my taste buds because I've made a couple of meals recently, thinking they were absolutely delicious, only to look up and find my husband and daughter almost in tears because they were too spicy. Now that I've learned my lesson, I simply add the extra spice after serving everyone else's portion. Like this meal, it doesn't have to be extra spicy for my family to enjoy it. It's interesting how our kitchens grow with our families. I know my pantry looks different to when we first got married. The things I buy every week have changed now that I have a toddler, and my freezer stock looks different after learning my husband's preferences. Over the years, we've slowly created what I like to think of as the Yoshida kitchen. Frozen rice ready for bento boxes, dried fruit and nuts ready to go when my toddler needs a snack, and spicy ingredients to satisfy mum's pregnancy cravings. They're all little things that make up the Yoshida kitchen. Whatever stage of life you're in, I'm sure you can probably look back and see how your own kitchen has evolved. Whether you live alone, have young children, teenagers, or perhaps you've retired and are simply enjoying life with your spouse, our kitchens all look different, and I think that's a beautiful reflection of the season of life we're in. I love seeing inside other people's kitchens and pantries, not to be nosy, but because I think you can learn so much about someone through their food, and it's always inspiring. So that was our meal for Tuesday. Some spicy-ish tantan men noodles in a soy milk soup with a fresh side of cucumber and tomatoes. And I must say, it was delicious. On Wednesday, I had a friend coming over, so I made this cherry crumble slice using a bag of cherries I had received from a local farmer. In the afternoon, I had a full day of meetings, so I ended up getting home much later than I expected. I decided to make a simple creamy shrimp and tomato pasta using the leftover soy milk from the night before, some frozen shrimp, and topping it with fresh Japanese shiso leaves. As you can see, I didn't get to film the process, but it was such a comforting meal after a long day. It's Thursday evening, I'm in from work and it's time to make dinner. Tonight I'm using a zucchini and this beautiful tomato I received from a local farmer to make a zucchini bake. Basically, I just need the zucchini, a red sauce, and some cheese. It'll go into the oven and dinner will be done in no time. Now, today has been a very long day at work and I knew it was going to be a longer day. So I did go ahead and cut my zucchini and cook it in the oven this morning to draw the moisture out in advance because that does take a little bit of time. So the zucchini is ready. So now I just have to make the tomato sauce, add some cheese, and dinner will be done. If you've seen any of my other videos, you'll know that I really enjoy eating what's in season. At the moment, it's summer in Japan, so leafy greens and fresh produce are abundant, even here in Hokkaido. Naturally, because Hokkaido has so much agriculture, I have a couple of friends who are farmers or grow vegetables in their own gardens, and sometimes they generously share them with us. I love vegetables so much that I hardly ever turn down a bag of homegrown produce, and I get genuinely excited thinking about how I'll use it in our dishes. I know that in 6 months' time, when Hokkaido is covered in snow, many of these vegetables won't be available anymore, so I enjoy every one of them while I can. Is there anyone else that always seems to wear white when they're cooking with tomatoes? Me! So after I'd finished staining my white t-shirt, the bake went into the oven and dinner was served. It's Friday evening and tonight I'm making a curry for my family. I received this cauliflower, so I want to use that, some chickpeas and some coconut cream to make something creamy and hearty for my family tonight. So let's get started. Friday night is often ministry night, so our dinners naturally need to be easy to eat on the go. I also find that as I get closer to the weekend, I naturally lean towards curries, soups, and stir-fries so that we use up whatever fresh produce is left in the fridge. I'm quite mindful about only buying what I know our family will finish, and just about every week we end up with a completely empty fridge, ready to start the new week afresh. For this particular dinner, I roasted the cauliflower first before starting the curry. I used up the last of the ginger and garlic in the fridge and added some Indian curry powder to make the base. I know you can make your own spice blends from scratch, but I do have a few little shortcuts like this that really help when life gets full. Having just a few spice blends, curry pastes, or condiments on hand makes it much easier to cook something delicious, instead of automatically ordering takeout when we're short on time. Usually, I would serve this with rice, but on this particular day I wasn't especially hungry, so I simply enjoyed the curry on its own. My husband and I happened to have Saturday afternoon off together, so we enjoyed a simple barbecue with vegetables and meat seasoned with nothing more than salt and spices. Sometimes simple really is best. So maybe this video gave you a little glimpse into what a week of simple dinners looks like for our family. I hope you felt inspired, encouraged, or simply enjoyed watching. Our dinners may be much simpler than they used to be, but somehow they've become more meaningful too. I think our kitchens naturally grow and change as our families do, and I love that ours reflects the season of life we're in right now. Just remember, simple is beautiful. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next week.